Okay, it's Friday. How are you guys? And welcome to another episode. By the way, Alan, this is episode 20.
Who knew?
20 of the Q&A with Alan and Marshall. And I can't believe this is number 20. I'm shocked.
I am amazed.
What the hell are we doing?
I still don't know what we're doing. I mean, we were just talking about off camera. And we had to keep pulling ourselves back because we get on these endless rabbit trails. I am surprised. So
yeah, I'm shocked. You know what's gonna be fun when this is episode 200 or something, right?
Oh man, it'll be great. We'll actually maybe not have a technical issue.
maybe we'll know how to run the platform, right?
Probably, yeah.
So I think it's really great, and the reason we keep doing this stuff is for you guys watching, right? This isn't for me and Alan. This is all about you. And the reason why it's a Q&A show, and I keep talking about this, is because we want to answer your questions. So in order for us to do that, you actually have to participate. You can't just watch. Put your questions in.
Yeah.
Summon up that inner courage and a keyboard, right? Type your question in so we can answer it. And I love having you guys participate. And if you don't have a question, very least say hello. Where are you? Yep. That kind of stuff. And we've actually got some people tuning in. So let's say hello to them.
And you know what? That's the thing about 20 episodes. We have some people that have followed us, I think, from day one. Some of them were
on that. Keith,
right there, the man. How you doing, Keith?
Here's our pal Greg.
Good morning. Just talked to Greg last week.
Eric. Good morning, Eric.
Yeah.
Sean,
how you doing? John and I have talked on the phone.
Yeah. So thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you. And here's our pal.
Uppsala. From Uppsala, Sweden. The pride of Uppsala, Sweden.
All right. Eric says, question one, how are you both doing? All right. So Alan, you go first. How are you doing?
I'm actually doing great. Thank you for asking. You know what? Every day sometimes can be a struggle for all of us. Every day can be a struggle sometimes for all of us. But you know what? I figure I am still a blessed man. We are in a pandemic. Things have been weird. Business is strange. While Marshall and I, just so you know, when Marshall and I do these, we look like we're right there. But Marshall, what did you say? 10 seconds before we went on, we both went, put on the game face.
Oh, yeah. Well, because we were talking some heavy subjects just a minute ago. And then I looked at my watch and it's like, okay, you got 10 seconds till we go live. I'm like, oh, game face.
But I am doing great. I am still a blessed man. The company I work for is doing well. We are actually having a very good month. I had a good month last week. There's some new stuff happening. So I'm excited. Am I nervous about tomorrow? Always. But we got to keep going. And that's actually one of our things. But thank you so much for asking, Eric. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and for me, I'm doing fantastic. I'm really super lucky to have an awesome family. Yesterday, I celebrated my 56th trip around the sun. And so I'll hit 60 one day, right? But right now I'm 56. And so I had a really great day with them after I got through with all the stuff I had to work on. And I've got some new clients that I'm doing some stuff for. I actually filmed, I was telling Alan earlier, I filmed 17 videos this morning for one of my clients.
Yep.
And so super busy, got a lot going on with Shirt Lab and everything. And we're going to get into some things later. But super happy to have really great friends like you, Alan, and other people in this industry. And it's just like life couldn't get any better. It would if we could all get together for one big group hug. I can't wait till that happens. And I think I'm going to be a blubbering, crying mess when that happens, just because, I miss people so much, right?
It was, I've been back on the road. I've made some road trips. I've had to go to Indiana a couple of times. And even though he's listening here, he's watching. I spent some time a couple weeks ago with Greg Kitson and Rob Konecki from there at Mind's Eye Graphics, and Greg and I go way back to the time Greg stole my American Express card, which is another story. But
yeah,
that's
what friends do is they steal our credit cards, right?
Well, I stole his too, so it was the same thing. And but you know what? Yes, it was a business, it was a sales call, but I enjoyed so much just being there, seeing them, talking with them. And even when we left, Rob went outside with me and we're in the parking lot. We just sat there talking for 20 minutes because we have jobs to do, we have sales to make and things like this. But I have realized more during this pandemic. I realized it a couple years ago when I was real sick and had to cancel on seminars. Richard Grieve steps in, and the comments I got, you start realizing we are not just business associates, we are a community, we are family and people I care about. So thank you so much, even if I've not met you because you're in Uppsala. I appreciate it.
This industry is one big family. You know, I think a lot of industries, I think they're all backstabbing, sniping people. And I'm sure we have a lot of people like that in this industry too. But I would put it out there that we treat each other with mutual respect and honor and love for the most part. Right. And I hope you agree with that. But, you know, that's kind of how I feel.
I think so. And, you know, we laughed at this industry. You get in, it's like Hotel California. You get in, you can never come out. I actually left kind of for a few years in the early part of like 2000 or late 90s. And you know what? But I was still kind of tied to it and came back. And I remember my first trade show, there was a guy who looked at me and goes, "You were gone. You made it. You made the cut." Yeah, no, I really didn't. And you know what? Because you realize grass is always seems greener. But it's great people.
Yeah. So we have some more people who joined us. So let's say hello, and then let's get into what we want to talk about today.
Sure.
So Richard says greetings from Michigan. Pete Jr. says, "What's up, guys? Big hello from New Era." Hey, did you ever find that package I sent you? Can you let me know?
And I got to give a shout out. Peter hooked me up with some masks for my nephews going to school. So Peter, you're the man. Peter with a beat.
And Sean says, "I wave at the screen every time you say my name." Thanks, Sean.
Yeah. Hey, Sean. Thanks.
Charles says, "Hello. Morning, gents."
Morning, Charles.
Thank you for the birthday wishes, Greg. I have no idea what Muhammad here is saying, and hopefully that isn't an insult because we don't I can't read what that says. So, you know, we'll just move past. Happy birthday, Charles. Thanks. Kisa says, "Good morning. It's become our Friday morning routine to have you guys in the background while we work." Thank you so much, Kisa. I appreciate that.
Weren't we just talking about that, Marshall, about the Friday routine?
Yeah, yeah. And then Peter's watching from Illinois. So thank you so much, Peter, for watching. And you ready to get into our topics?
Let's go.
All right. So here we go. Here's our first one, which is this old quote: "The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago." Huh?
I was going to say, let's let him guess.
The next best time is today, right? So
absolutely.
What does this mean? I have a little thing I want to show, but for you, Alan, what does this mean? What does this quote mean?
Well, this quote means it's the long game for me. So I will give you the scenario in my personal life. My brother, Daniel, is a computer genius. I tease, Marshall knows he's probably Sheldon Cooper off of Big Bang Theory, but I love him. He bought property in Costa Rica like eons ago before it became the destination spot. And they actually, it's an old farm and they replanted it with trees.
Like banana trees?
Pardon me?
Banana trees?
No, these were trees that will be harvested, I think, in the next coming years, part of retirement. And he was planning then. The best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. And that's what they did. And, you know, it was teak trees, I think some rubber trees, some things like that can be harvested that were ecological for the land. Mm-hmm. But yeah, for your plans, you need to start now. You don't wait. And if you've waited, do it now.
And so the reason I wanted to post this is because I have an update on something. And so as you guys have probably known, especially folks that have been here watching for a little bit, I have a new project that I've been working on, which is really revamping my YouTube page.
Yep.
And so I want to share some progress. Now, remember, we were really at zero, 6 weeks ago, right? Didn't really have a whole lot going on. I don't really know what's up. And I've enlisted a key employee in the Atkinson consulting empire, my 16-year-old son, Jack, to help me with this. And so the lesson I want you guys to take from this is this channel has grown because of my 16-year-old son. And so if we can do this, you can do this. We're planting a tree. And I want to show you right now just how tall that tree is. So here is the analytics. So let's get rid of the banner here. Hold on so we can see. All right, so this channel right now, this is the last week. We got 243 views in the last 7 days. We have just this week 31 new subscribers. We're up to 115 subscribers. Now remember, when Jack started, I had 32.
Yeah.
Okay. And now here's the key metric for YouTube is that when you get to 100 subscribers, you can name your own channel, right? So now it's YouTube/Marshall Atkinson, right? It's not the alphabet soup any longer because we're over 100 people. This is the benchmark I was trying to hit. Okay. And let's just look at some things. So these are the top videos in this past week. We released a new video and I hope you guys have seen it. And this is Jack and I working together. And he was telling me, if you remember, all of my videos on YouTube are all about an hour. And he goes, Dad, nobody watches stuff that long. And he's right. Look at the view duration. Everything is short little videos. The most anybody watches, any of the stuff I'm publishing is 13, 15, 12 minutes. Okay. This video with Ryan Moore and Brett Bowden is actually about 8 minutes long. Okay. But in the last week, it's got 157 views. And this is where all the subscribers came from.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm planting my tree, right? So this new show is planting my tree. And by the way, episode 2 is with Pete Jr. Okay. So he's talking about his best t-shirt he ever printed. And we're editing that right now. And hopefully we'll get that out next week, but we'll see. You know, school starts for Jack on Monday, so maybe that might impact something. But it's okay. Here's the other videos that I'm doing, you know, and I don't want to make it all about me, right? But what I want to really kind of just show you guys is we are planting our tree. This could be you with your YouTube channel or the blog that you're writing or your Instagram account or your sales pipeline or whatever it is. And so the reason I wanted to show this is there's a couple things here. You're measuring. Remember, you can't manage what you don't measure, right? We're using a measurement tool. In this instance, it's vidIQ is the tool I'm using to measure engagement and measure what people do, how many followers, all that kind of stuff. You saw the dashboard I have. So this could be your sales pipeline. This could be your Instagram. This could be your Facebook. This could be lots of stuff, right? You need a tool to manage it. You need the numbers. So if you're going to be planting your tree, are you watering it? Are you doing marketing? Are you sending people there? Right? So if you guys follow me on social media, you may have seen a post or two or whatever about the stuff that I'm doing. This is watering the tree that I'm growing. So I want you guys to kind of use this as it could be you, right? And you know, and of course I want you guys to enjoy the stuff that I'm putting out, but more so than anything, I want you to take this as a lesson to what you guys can be doing for your shops and your business, right? And if you're not doing anything, if you're starting from zero, basically just what I was doing 6 weeks ago, look how far we've come.
Absolutely.
we put the effort into it, right? We put the effort into it, but this is what we're doing and this is how we're going, right? And so that's kind of what I wanted to talk about with the tree thing, right? And do we have any questions on that?
We have some comments on it coming down, and there's some good ones. I think, we have to be planning. And when you're, Marshall, the key thing you said is you have to be planning now, right there, what Richard said. And Richard used to be a landscape architecture, his father's business, to quote, before he ran away and joined the circus, which is now garment decorating. But, you got to be thinking ahead of time. And right now we have had time in the slowdown. If you haven't been thinking about your business, what you're going to do, what you're going to add, and how are you going to measure it? Whether it is a podcast, a video, anything like that, how are you going to measure it? If it's your screen room, how many screens you're getting up a day? Where are your bottlenecks at? What are the things you need to do? You better be measuring and recording these and having a way to recall that information, or you are going to die.
Yeah.
It's simple.
Here's another one. A year from now, you would wish you'd started today.
Exactly.
Marcia says, hey, Marcia, I need a teenager on staff to help me navigate Facebook.
She was, when you had the graph up, I don't know if people could still see my face, but I was actually texting Marcia trying to help her get to the site. So
she watched the video and she says it's fun, right? And then Sean says fertilizing it.
Yeah.
Right. That's your social media. That's your marketing. So with your online store, with your website, with your YouTube channel or Facebook or whatever you're doing, how are you getting eyeballs on the site?
Yep.
You need a plan for that. It doesn't just happen.
You just don't throw it up there.
Yeah. Right. How do you happen? Look at this show. We do marketing for it. Right. And we post and hopefully that works. And, I don't know if I'm the best at it or anything, but we're learning and we're doing and we're trying and we're doing some things. Right. And what I know is that you got to keep tweaking. You got to keep looking. You got to keep, understanding and detailing what successful looks like. For you, what are your numbers? What's the key? Yep. Right. And so anyway, that's kind of what I wanted to share.
Well, and I think it's great, Marshall. We have to know, one, if you didn't plant the tree, or I should have done this before when the pandemic first started, well, do it now.
Right.
Start it.
And Eric says, we're loving the new success stories with Marshall Atkinson podcast. Good stuff, Marshall. Thank you, Eric. This is that doing a podcast is a lot of work, right? It might look easy, but it's a lot of work behind the scenes. Yep. And I appreciate that. And so we've got 2 episodes out now. The first one was out a couple weeks ago with Danny Rosen and Robert Fiveash with Brand Fuel. And they're talking about how they're pivoting after the Alan, there's your word, pivoting after the pandemic. And then this episode that just came out on Wednesday was about Shelby Craig with Rocket Shirts, about how he is using website design, SEO, and also using Facebook. And he's got a great way to use Facebook. For those of you who want to market on Facebook, he has a great way that he's marketing on Facebook for less money.
Yep.
And he talks about how to do it on the podcast. So I think if you're interested in that, and if you're confused with Facebook, you should give it a listen. And so while we're talking about it, let me throw the link out here right here, which is successstories@buzzsprout.com. And by the way, if you want to start your own podcast, Buzzsprout is, Alan, I know you want to start your own podcast.
I'm writing it down. I knew you were going to say that.
So. It is $12 a month.
So Marshall,
plan. $12 a month, you could have a podcast. All you have to do, and here's the hardest part, is put the work in.
So, Marshall, do we need to tell him why you're chastising me? Richard Greaves already knows.
Well, because we've been talking about it for a year.
So, we are guilty sometimes of the things we talk about. I was casually talking to Marshall over a year ago about something, and it was a possible podcast. It was not industry related. And he goes, oh my gosh, that is amazing. and I still have not done anything with it.
Yeah. Well,
20 years ago, and
you goof. Plant your tree, man.
yeah, plant the tree, and yeah, just start doing it. So yeah, I'm as guilty as the other person. So
okay, so we've got a question here, so let's make sure we get to it.
yeah,
Greg says, question for Peter Walsh, and hopefully Peter is still on here. Quick explanation of difference between DTG ink and DS ink as it relates to environmental controls on our production floors. All right, so if you could answer that, that would be great. I don't know if he's listening. So
well,
anyway, so we're going to throw it out there.
Depending on the DS ink you're using, Greg's using a wax-based one, so it's complete solid when it's on there. DTG ink is a water-based co-solvent product, but I don't know the environmental.
Well, I mean, this is an STS question, right? I mean,
yeah,
I don't know what's the stuff's made of. I mean, oh, here you go. Peter says working on it. You know what that means? Is that he's on the phone going, "Hey, somebody give me the answer."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
right. So Jack wants to know: is Success Story strictly a podcast? The answer is yes. It's strictly a podcast. So it's an Audible thing, and it's on every, it's on iTunes, it's on Stitcher, it's on Spotify, it's on all those channels. Whatever you listen to podcasts for, you can find it. And if you can't find it for some reason, email me and I'll give you the link for it. So, okay, so let's go to question 2 or topic 2. You ready?
Let's go.
The other side of the tunnel, right? So the thing here with this is we're all in this pandemic. We're all in this crazy mode. It's survival of the fittest right now, right? And there's a tunnel, and here's what we don't have. We don't know how long the tunnel is. Is the tunnel a month from now? Is the tunnel a year from now? Nobody knows, right? There's no way to predict this. And also, is there a light heading at us in the tunnel, like a train coming at us?
Another train?
We don't know that either, right? All I know is we need to get to the other side of the tunnel.
Or is the light the sunshine?
Or is the light the sunshine, right? So this is kind of the Greg says Michelle Moxley needs to be a future guest. And by the way, DS meant digital squeegee.
Digital squeegee, I saw that. Yeah, my bad.
Okay.
Here's
good question. I think the DTG uses water-based ink and digital squeegee uses a high solids acrylic, but the CMYK ink, is that what you're talking about, Greg? So is it the same ink? Is just to clarify your question, right? Well, we're not talking about the under-base high solids acrylic. We're talking about the DTG ink that we're using to print all the magical, cool colors, right? That's what
you have to talk about. When you're talking environmental impact, you're going to have to talk about everything. The HSA, you're going to have to talk about the ink. And the digital squeegee, you're going to have to talk about the carbon footprint it takes to.
Well, you're right there, but I think maybe Greg question's just talking about the CMYK part of it, maybe.
Sure.
I don't know. Greg, what do you mean? Be clear. Why don't you clarify your question so that these knuckleheads here, me and Alan, can understand?
Because now we're just going down another rabbit hole.
Yeah. So anyway, other side of the tunnel. Okay. So I work with shops, and you travel a lot, and you talk to shops too. And a lot of people are doing really well right now. And some people are either out of business or they've got one foot in the grave and they just don't know it yet. So I think what is the difference, Alan, between these two types of businesses, do you think, for how they're going to survive and get to the other side of this thing?
Well, I think we have to remember, too, on the tunnel, that if you are sitting there waiting for that light to come forward to you, you're going to get hit by something. It's either going to be complete darkness and you're just going to die there, or you're going to get hit by a train that's coming, or you're never going to get outside of it. We have to remember there is another side of the tunnel. We are not talking complete decimation of the earth. We're not talking an asteroid hitting the earth. That there is hope still. There is still another side of the tunnel. We have said it's not going to be the same. It is going to be a next normal, not a new normal, a next normal.
Right.
Because in business, things always change. In life, things always change. I'm 54 next month, and it's taken me that long to say that. I may not always like it and understand it, but things always change. There's always a next normal. How big is that, and what are you doing to prepare for it? What I'm seeing out there, Marshall, is there are shops that are just going after it. They are printing. They are not just printing masks. They are doing masks, but it has now become just another one of their product arrays of what their client needs. They are printing, I saw an 8-color shirt being printed for a resort area up on Lake Erie. I have seen shops just printing stuff for schools. There are schools going back, some online, some in a hybrid, some there. There is business out there. If you were sitting there waiting on it to come to you, you're done.
Yeah, right.
You're done.
I totally agree with that. And so you have to go after it. And here's the thing is people right now are buying.
They are buying.
If your sales suck, it's because they're just not buying from you.
Yep.
Right. So you have to really kind of dig into that and find out what's going on.
Yep.
So look at how you're marketing, look at how you're positioning. And I would be looking at things not like what you're trying to sell people, but what problems are you solving?
Yep.
Like if you can solve your customers' problems, what are their problems right now? So a lot of times apparel, t-shirts, right, are giveaways. You know, the company uses a shirt to connect with their customers, right? So they're giving away a t-shirt or they're selling it at a very low cost, you know, like a bar or a restaurant, right?
Yep.
So that, a lot of people have that little store and they sell the shirt, right? And they do that a lot. But maybe right now they're not buying shirts because what are they doing? They're giving away masks. So if you staked your claim that I'm not getting in the mask business, that's not for me, right? And you're trying to sell the same customer t-shirts, they're not buying t-shirts, they're buying masks.
Right.
I'm not saying everybody's buying masks, don't get me wrong. I just want to make sure you understand you need to be solving your customers' problems, which means you need to be doing what? You need to be talking to them and asking your customers, hey, what are you struggling with? What are you doing? How can I help you solve your problems?
Yep.
And this makes you a value to them. If you can solve your customers' problems, you're way more valuable than somebody just trying to sell you stuff.
I had a conversation with a new dealer we're probably signing on this week. I can't say who they are. And they asked me, they said, Alan, what do you look for when you're looking at a new dealer on there? I said, I am looking for one. I want someone that's out there working. But I'm not looking for someone to just, hey, we sell easy waste systems. I'll take an order. If I need that, then they can order direct from us. What do I need someone in a regional for me? I want a partner.
Yeah.
I want someone that partners with us, that will partner with the end user, the printer. The end user for us is the printer. And that's what we want. And I think most people, when I am purchasing something, I can go on Amazon and I buy, but I buy certain brands because I like them. I feel like they're partners. They're part of me, and that's what I do. You can buy from anybody, but your customers need a partner. Where are they at? What are you looking for? What can they do? What haven't they thought of? And if you're not bringing options and things to them, somebody else will.
Right.
And I think, you know, when I hear people saying, no, I'm not getting in the mask game, these are the same people that go, no, I don't do promo. Well, that means you're turning down business.
You don't have to do it, right? And that's like plenty of successful companies aren't doing masks. They don't do promo because they have focused on exactly what they do to such a degree where people are lining up to come to them. So if that is not your business, if you're not having that level of success, then you need to kind of retool to kind of think about how are you solving your customers' problems and making them sticky to you.
Yeah.
Right. So we have some comments here I want to throw out here.
Yeah, I was reading Peter's.
Peter answered the question, and like we will totally be blocked out. So I won't get into a long explanation, but the inks used in the digital squeegee hybrid system are far more stable than traditional DTG inks because they are sandwiched, protected between a screen printed base white and an overprint clear. The DS inks don't need to be heavily loaded with unstable temperature, humidity sensitive resin binders to achieve wash fastness. Traditional DTG inks need to provide all the wash fastness properties of the screen print inks they are replacing. What a fantastic answer, Peter. I'm so happy you got your team to help you with that.
Right. And that makes complete sense.
Right. And he said and Greg says entire ink package is provided, finished product. DS is not your father's digital ink.
Absolutely.
Right. And then our pal Jack says, when customer knows more than the distributor, that's not good.
That's not good. But you have to remember that you might know more than the sales guy that's there because he might be in year 3 of his career. You might be in year 20. But if that sales guy is asking questions going, how can I help you? He doesn't have to have the answers right now. What are your needs? What are your fears? What are your problems? Where are there? And he can go back and come back with solutions. That's still a partner.
Right. Right. This is where the value part comes in. So like, I don't know everything. And I think anybody that tells you they know everything is full of
They're liars. Yeah.
But guess what? I know people. I like Alan, over the years, how many times have I emailed you or phoned you because I'm at a shop and we're in there's a thing going on with the emulsion and I can't feel like, hey, this is what's going on. And then you go, hey, what they need to do is blah, 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 blah. Right.
Usually I said, well, there's 5 more questions I got to have answered. But yeah, absolutely.
And so it's the relationships in this industry that get you further down the road.
Yeah. I always say I'm not a smart man, but I know people who are.
Yeah.
I'm just friends with them. I can call Richard Greaves. I can call Greg Kitson. I can call Marshall Atkinson. Let's go.
Right. And Richard says, do change your mind. Good ideas are often murdered by better ones. What an interesting word to put in that sentence. Murdered by better ones. And so a lot of times people get into trouble because they flip-flopped on something, right? Yeah. I'm anti-DTG and all of a sudden I'm a DTG fan. And so you'll see that sometimes on these stupid Facebook groups.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I changed my mind because I got more information or the technology changed or I have a new application where it makes sense. And so that's where we need to be with things. We need to be open to new ideas because that's going to help us.
Man, I remember when DTG first came out, there was that, well, no, I'm a screen printer. I'm not a direct to garment and everything like that. Peter, gotta love him. And I actually wrote an article for Printwear magazine when it was Printwear. It's now Graphics Pro. They wanted me to write one on screen print versus digital. And I said, I can do that, but I won't do one against the other. And I wrote it in a way of showing what basically said, what is your market? What is your niche?
Right.
And, I actually sold the early stages of the Brothers, the GT 541s. And there was someone within a sales group going, you know what? I have a customer. He's either going to buy a 6-color gauntlet or a GT 541. And they asked me, they go, Alan, what do you think about that? I go, 2 very, very valuable and powerful pieces of equipment, hardly interchangeable though. That means I have to figure out what and the customer didn't know what they were looking for either.
Sure.
And you had to do that DTG and where you're going. You cannot just say I'm a screen printer anymore in most places that I'm a screen printer. Sometimes it's good to focus on here's what we do. We're going to do it better than anybody else and kill it. Awesome.
Yeah. So better
decorator. Being with Greg Kitson, he is a screen printer, but I love Mind's Eye Graphics. I've heard him say more than once. He goes, we're basically a logistics company and we kind of print a few hours a day.
Yeah, I would rather you refer to yourself as I'm a problem solver. I'm a branding expert.
Yeah.
I help people with their merchandising. I help people, make money. I heard a term the other day I thought was brilliant. I wish I could think of it right this second. But it's just something about merchandising. I help people with apparel merchandising. Or something like that. The point of it is they're not talking about the decoration. or
Yeah.
how the thing was decorated. What they're talking about is the end result. And if you sell it in results, if you sell that thing, then how that thing was decorated, it was screen printed, it was embroidered, it was DTG'd, it was dye sub or whatever. It's applicable to that particular situation. And that's what you're selling. You're selling your expertise to know the difference between what you need.
Yep.
And a couple of years ago, I wrote a blog article, one of the best, most read blog articles that I've actually published, which was called Screen Printing as a Lion and DTG as a Cheetah. And it was about the differences between the two.
Yep.
And like it was comparing, just kind of like what you did, screen printing is the old established king, but in many instances, DTG is faster because you eliminate the need to go through the screen room. And so for the application here, it's all about if you want to drop your turn times, if you're doing stuff with less quantities, if you're doing more of print on demand, it's really hard to make screen printing pay.
Agreed.
Right? Or make it profitable, right? DTG is set up perfect for that. And if you, in fact, right now, you're going to see the emergence of DTG print on demand is blowing up. And why is it blowing up? It's blowing up because a lot of people are creating online stores, Shopify stores, that type of stuff, where they're doing a lot more with print on demand because people only need one shirt or 2 shirts or 10 shirts or whatever. And screen printing that just doesn't make financial sense.
Right.
And so print on demand is going crazy. And screen printing absolutely doesn't make any sense for that, just from a cost, time, labor perspective. So you're exactly right. What makes the most sense? Well, what's the problem?
Well, and then I think too, because I mentioned in that one, and now this article has to be 10 years old, maybe more than that. But I was at a shop and they did the pockets screen printed, but they had it was a white shirt, and I shouldn't say the pocket, the left chest screen printed, but they did the CMYK white print, all DTG.
Mm-hmm.
It took them 3 days on the GT 541 they were doing. But the reasoning was I got talking to the owner and he says, yes, it's going to take 3 days to get that done, on the digital. It's not due for another couple weeks, but we can bang it out there and I can run this many jobs on the automatic when it was there. So it became a time thing.
Yeah, well, let's not forget, they're running that DTG job with one person.
Yep.
Whereas, an automatic press, you've got 3. Right. So your labor is less. There's no screens to it, that type of stuff. And some of these DTG platforms, you actually know what your cost per image is to the penny, because
that's the good and bad. And on this one, it was it was like almost 1,000 shirts, but by the time, or maybe a couple hundred, but it was out of what the norm of the DTG was. And I thought that was brilliant because when you ran the numbers going, I don't care. It takes 3 days. I'm going to do it this way because I'm not jamming up my press time or whatever.
Yeah,
for that. And he just got so much more production out of it. And you've got to look at that, these hard, fast rules that we have aren't always hard and fast. Right. And that blew it out of the water. I always say the best thing about DTG is usually know what your cost is up front. The bad part of DTG is your cost up front, no matter how many shirts it is.
But it's not the same. There's no economy of scale. One shirt, 1,000 shirts to cost you the same. So it's all about capacity loading in that situation. Mm-hmm. Right. Understanding that. So where are we on time? All right. I got about 20 minutes. So here's topic 3, website stores redesign. How is yours? So I get a lot of email. Okay. And one of the things I do, if you email me a question, and a lot of people do, is I immediately look you up. So I start stalking you and lurking, and because I want to understand you as a business. What are you about? So I look at your social media feeds. I look at your website. And a lot of websites, oh my gosh, like 1983 wants their website back. Okay. So it's like, what are you doing right now? Everything is moving online. And if your website isn't responsive, if it doesn't load in under 2 seconds, If it's not easy to use, if it's not mobile friendly, which is the responsive part, if it's not geared towards sales, it's just a fancy business card that nobody actually is reading.
And that's what they used to be, just fancy business cards.
Yeah. So, but these days it's a 24/7 salesperson.
Right.
So for shops right now that are struggling, one of the things I would suggest is really look at your website. How are you using it? What is it about? How is it driving more sales?
Yep.
So there's an easy way to understand this. And by the way, my latest podcast on success stories, Shelby talks about this with fantastic detail about how to really redo this. But what I want you to understand is your customer, right? It should be so simple and clear. There's only one thing on your website, your customer, that you want them to do. One. You only get one. What is it? Is it call for an appointment? Is it to get a quote? Is it to sign up for our mailing list? Whatever it is to look at our online store. Mm-hmm. What do you want your customer to do? That has to be biggest Texas on your website. Otherwise, you're confusing your customer.
Yep.
And you don't have to have every single thing that you've ever done in the entire history of your business on the front page, which is what I see a lot.
Yeah.
I see 8 million words. Okay. What I want to tell you is, hey, what can you do with 6? Right? People are impatient. It's Amazon, it's fast food drive-throughs. It's the fact that we're all distracted. There's lots of noise. Your website needs to work, and it needs to work very, very, very quickly. How many websites, Alan, have you been on where you get the loading thing, right? And it's still loading and you're like, oh, I'm done with this.
Yeah. I just move forward, move away.
Right. I wish it worked, or you're doing or you're on a website and I go, oh yeah, I would love to follow them on Instagram, and you click it and nothing happens.
I hate that they're not mobile friendly. I am checking websites on my phone more than I do.
Well, you travel a lot. You go see people. You're in your car all the time.
And I love, for us, the one thing I love about EasyWay's website, and only because they're in chemistry, there is a couple companies that they don't put all the information. You want to know anything about our company, any of our products, you go up there. It is under products right there. You will find a tech data sheet. You will find an SDS sheet. A lot of companies do not have SDS sheets. They make you call. Drives me nuts. I worked for a company that did that, and it made me insane, and it was a paranoia thing. And they're not the only one. There's a few of them. But if you're not, we like to sell through dealers. You can buy from us direct, but it's better to go through a dealer, and we're probably going to push you that way. So it's not driving sales. We are there for information on there. How can we be? It should be an extension of me, of being a partner with our end users, our dealers, whatever. And that's what it is. There is a focus to that.
Right. And I think, on that level, it's all about transparency, right? So if I buy that chemical or that consumable or whatever, is my pregnant catcher going to be exposed to something that's going to cause an issue? I want to know.
Well, and that's one of those things that people don't realize. And under the right to know laws, it is yours as the end user printer, all of you, whether it's screen, whether it's direct to garment, you have to have the SDS safety data sheets available in open space for your employees and anybody that walks into your shop, a customer, whatever. And if OSHA walks in, first thing they're going to say is, show me your SDS sheets. And if you open a drawer with a file in it, you're written up. Yeah. And if you can't get them, the law is it's not for the manufacturer's job. The way the burden is on you, the end user, to have them. The burden's on us to provide them. And we want to provide them freely, quickly, in a minute.
And I've actually, the level of stuff I was printing for those companies, we were once a month doing a safety and social compliance audit, because I'm doing all the shirts in the country for McDonald's or whoever, right? So we have those all the time. So it's not just having the sheets available. What they want to know is, are your people trained to read them?
Yep.
So we would do annual SDS training. And so what I did is I would print enlarged versions of one, and I just used white ink because that's the most ubiquitous on the floor, white.
Right.
Here's how you read the safety data sheet. And I had, it's 6 pages long or whatever. I had 6 blow-ups of each page, and we would go through what all this stuff means. And here's how you find it. So if you want to know something about whatever chemical you're exposed to, that press wash, that fixation fluid, whatever, here's how you look it up. And it's all tabbed in the book and that kind of stuff, right? And if you don't understand it, your supervisors can help you. And, we're off on a crazy tangent here, but
now SDS are easier. It should be easier because they're now all standard.
Right.
It used to be MSDS sheets, they were called. Well, now under the global systems, everything should be updated on there. And everybody has so many sections, and it should all be there. So it's all standardized. But yeah, that's one of the things. And we got off web stores on there. We're on websites for us at Easyway, and it's a shameless plug too. You can go right there, and it's the most up-to-date information on our SDSs, which in chemistry is important. I was at a shop 2 weeks ago, Marshall, I think I told you, and he's using a product, and I go, you cannot put that down the drain. And he pulls out he goes, yeah, I can. I go, what's the STS on it? 138 degrees. Well, 140 is non-flammable, considered non-flammable. He goes, see, it's close. I go, yeah, and you're going to be in trouble if the Water Commission gets it.
Yeah.
But I said, that's not true. That was a SDS from 2005, I think it was. I went on with them to the product manufacturers. I'm not going to say who it was, their website. It was updated 3 years ago. It was 113 degrees on there. So basically it's a flammable. It's like a high-end mineral spirits.
Right.
Down the drain. You cannot do this. And this wasn't a small shop. Drums of it.
Right. Well, the whoever he bought that from, I'm assuming it wasn't you, should be sending him the updated SDS sheets as part of their customer service.
If they knew there was an update on it.
Well, okay. Well, this is all about customer service. What are you doing for your customers, right? So anyway, so let's get back to website stuff, right? So here's the thing is you absolutely need to be doing a website audit, right? And like I was talking earlier, right? You need to know your numbers. So if you're using a website for sales, how's your sales, right? Are you actually selling from your website? And if you're not happy with the results, what actually are you doing, right? So it's like one of these things, you need to be looking at this. You need to be setting a number. And then what are you doing to achieve that number? And I think this is really super important. And it doesn't have to be anything fancy. It could just be a pad of paper or a spreadsheet that you're keeping, right? What are your numbers? What should it be? How are you driving eyeballs to your website or your online store or whatever you're doing, right? What does good, better, best look like, right? Are your numbers under or above whatever that is? And if you're under, what are you doing to fix it?
Yep.
So that's really kind of what I wanted to kind of throw it out there.
I think it's important, Marshall, too, that if you're looking at someone's website and you don't order from them, but you do engage with them and talk to them, let them know how you found them and what you found on there. When I'm out of town, I'm forever using Yelp on my phone going, where is a good coffee shop? I'd rather go to an independent one than Starbucks or something like that. And I just did in Goshen, Indiana, one called Cabin Creek Coffee. It was an incredible shop. And I loved it. And I told them, I said, I found you on Yelp. I want them to know that their media and social dollars are working.
Yeah. And speaking of coffee, if you really want to see website e-commerce at its best, here's my coffee mug. I drink Black Rifle coffee. It's phenomenal coffee. I love it. Okay. It's veteran owned. I won't bore you with that whole story. But they have a website. I subscribe to the coffee. So it's set up as a recurring thing. So I never have to buy it at the grocery store. It just gets shipped to me as a regular thing, right?
Yep.
And they're incredibly awesome. Their customer experience is great. Fantastic communication. Hey, your subscription is going to ship next week. Your subscription shipped. Hey, your subscription was delivered. All automatic, right? It's fantastic. So if you're doing e-commerce, what's the back end of what you're doing with the shipping part, and
True.
how you're dealing with your customers. They also do, ask for reviews. I get sent stuff when they have a new product. They do a lot of stuff where they do give back programs for veterans and police officers and firefighters and all kinds of stuff. So they have a social media, social good component to them. So there's a lot of reasons why I support that coffee, other than the fact that it's just fantastic.
What's it called? Black Rifle?
Black Rifle, and they're hilarious. Their social media is, they're veterans. There's a bunch of military guys. They put a minigun on a Honda Prius and went out to the desert and blew up stuff with it. So you can look at that video. It's a riot.
Cool. We got comments.
Yeah, so I wanted to get some comments, actually. So Greg says, apologize for hijacking the conversation. Hey, no apology necessary, Greg. Yeah. The show's for you, and we want you to ask a question. So
we have things set up. Doesn't mean we have to do them. We want your questions. That means that's important. So
Richard says, Lessons from the Goal.
Is that a book, Richard?
Fantastic book. It's must read. We were talking before we started, must read, must listen to shows. Yep. This is a must-read book, The Goal. If you haven't read The Goal, if you don't know about Alex Rogo, you're missing out, right?
I haven't read it. I wrote it down.
What? Come on.
I'm a failure.
The Theory of Constraints is where this came from, is from the same author, right? Okay. Which states you're only as fast as the slowest part of your process.
Got it.
Right? So think about where your bottlenecks are. The whole book is about understanding that concept. He also says, fixing new paint after the podcast, new project, and he doesn't like the way he spells. Thank you for the Yosemite Sam spelling there.
Yosta, you know what? Your English is 1,000 times better than our Swedish.
That's right. Ray says, my wife designs websites, and it's vital that the site is adjustable to all devices, PC, tablets, and phones. That's exactly right, Ray. Thank you.
Great job.
Use a professional, i.e. Ray's wife, to help you set up your Shopify site and make you some money. That's exactly true.
And use Ray's wife, make him some money too.
Kisa says, love that coffee, and we'll be buying some today. Exactly. So Kisa, if you're going to order from them, here's what I want you to do. I want you to pay close attention to how they deal with you as a customer. And then what you do is R&D, remember, rip off and duplicate.
Yep.
I want you to use that for your own online web experience, and just, here's what they do. I want to do the same thing. And you will be blown away. Your customers will be blown away by how you treat them. That's all part of your customer experience.
Hold on, I'm writing that down. That's great homework.
And Black Rifle coffee is just it, right? And there's awesome coffee out there.
Yeah.
But I just like their whole look. And I have another one on my desk. So I was drinking this yesterday. I have their mug, right? Coffee or die. They got some great merch. They actually, Black Rifle Coffee sponsored the first Shirt Lab in Columbus, and every single person that went got a pound of coffee in their gift bag. So, Brian Hamill runs their merch. They're actually out of Utah, and he's a screen printer. I've talked to him a couple times, and he actually he's like in part of their merch design and stuff now. So, all right. So, Kisa says, deal. Good job. And then Sean says, do you have any cut and sew facilities that you have worked with or know that does great work? Not for mask or apparel. So what are you sewing that's not a mask or apparel? Like a socks, a business suit? I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So I've worked with cut and sew people doing some projects, and I've just used local seamstresses. So there's hey, you got a hole in your shirt, the lady that works at the dry cleaner, that kind of thing. I've done projects with them over the years to custom make stuff. If you want, they're great for putting like a woven label on like 1,000 shirts that you want to do something on the sleeve. and they'll charge you 20 cents or something. And sometimes your staff, one of the, usually it's not the guys, it's the ladies. One of the ladies has a sewing machine at home, and she'll set that up in front of the TV and knock the stuff out. Right.
Yep.
I've done that too. So don't really know what you're asking for, Sean. So I can't be specific.
He just replied.
Oh, what did he say? Can't say yet. Okay. Well, we can't help you yet.
Sean, contact us on the side. And
he
asked
in Shirt Lab Tribe the other day, and I think I responded with the same answer. I don't know. All right. So Keith says we do sublimation cut and sew for tons of items. Just depends on what you need. So there you go, Sean. Why don't you and Keith connect? And
Keith will let us know what you're working on next week.
Yeah.
No, it'll be our secret.
All right. So we have one topic left. So you think we can squeeze it in the last 5 minutes?
Let's do it.
And actually, it kind of makes sense. It's working leaner. We only have 5 minutes to talk about this.
Getting more done with less people.
More done with less people. More done with less time.
And less steps.
Right. So how are we working leaner? And I know a lot of shops, I talk to people all the time. They used to have 20 people in the shop, and now they're trying to do everything with 11, And you were at a shop the other day. I don't think we need to mention who, but they were talking about, why don't you just tell the story? Maybe that's probably a better way of saying it.
There's two of them. So I was at a shop a few weeks ago, and they were saying that, their numbers are down significantly. It's a contract shop. But he said, you know what? Per dollar, we're making more per dollar. Now, I don't know where that puts them in there. I didn't want to go that deep with them on there. But they were making more money per dollar. And, they don't have as many people. They're not as busy, but they're making more profit on what they do sell. So now, is that good or bad? I don't know. It's not bad on the surface, but you got to look at what it is. There's many shops that I'm talking to, and one, actually said, they go, you know what? There are some people we're not bringing back. Yeah, we've realized, man, that we were pretty lean. We thought, no, we can be leaner. And it's forced them. And they said, through this, we're redoing some things, going, okay, we're gonna stay lean, and we're gonna do it. If we have to change some things, then so be it. And one of them, the owner said, he goes, I'm so used to being on the press, being the go-to guy. He was actually stepping over people. Well, wait, this guy, the owner said this, but the art director said this. Well, it should be the art director's call. And he realized the problem was him. He goes, I'm staying out of the way. If
that's great.
Guy, it's there. If it needs to go that, I think you probably know who it is. It's one of your clients. And
how many, I know exactly who it is. How many people out there watching, right, can admit that the problem is them?
Yeah.
Right? Do you have that internal fortitude to say, raise your hand, yeah, it's me, I'm the problem?
I may never admit it, but the problem is always me. I get it usually. But yeah, you have to look at that, and the microscope is on everybody, especially yourself. If you own your shop or you the direct major manager, it is on you. What are you doing? Not to just cut staff, but how are you working smarter, not harder?
Right.
That's what it comes down to. And that could be in a couple ways of cross-training people. Does your printer know how to hoop embroidery? Doesn't have to do it fast, but he has to be functional. Does your screen maker know how to run a press? Does your printer even know what happens in screen making and realizing it's not the art director's fault on stuff? You have to know this and do it. Wow, reclaiming screens? Maybe you, supervisor, need to get back there and reclaim screens and go, wow, we're doing 50 to 80 screens a day or 50 screens a day. We do need to look at an automatic reclaim.
Yeah, right. That can replace a whole person.
Oh, and it just makes it, or a whole person, or stuff gets done where now that person, because he's cross-trained, can move over and do something else.
Yeah.
So
my wife says so.
And go with that. Yeah.
If mama isn't happy, nobody's happy.
That's right. And that's worldwide.
So we're going to wrap up here in a minute. So before we go, I'm going to share some things, but please leave your final questions or comments so we can get to them. Sometimes we can go late. Alan actually has to jump off and scoot today, so we're kind of time limited. So what we want to do is make sure if you've got a comment or question, get it in right now. And I'm going to wrap up with a couple things. First off, Shirt Lab Tribe. I really want you guys to join this. If you're not in Shirt Lab Tribe, you're missing out. Here's the website. You should join. We're in our kind of beta mode right now. We're releasing some new things really soon. But it's just a super impactful group. shirtlabtribe.com. It's $49 a month. You can get a slight discount if you sign up and pay annually. But it's going to go up to $99 a month really soon. I'm not going to say when, but really soon. And so right now, you can get a $50 a month discount, and that's forever if you join right now. And so we're limiting to our founding member group to 100 shops, and we're halfway right now. We're at 50. So you should join. It's super awesome. And don't just take my word for it. A lot of people here commenting are in the tribe, and they'll tell you. I'd rather them speak on my behalf anyway. But I'm just telling you, we provide lots of instruction, lots of content, lots of education, accountability, all types of fun and just exciting things. We do a presentation every single Thursday. Yesterday, Justin McKibben, who spoke at Shirt Lab Atlanta, shared his business development system that he uses right now to get new clients and think about things and think about the strategy and the tactics that he's using to go after clients. And maybe you're going, well, who is that guy? Right? Well, he is the director of sales for Melmark in California, which is only a 250,000 square foot shop. So I think you should listen to that guy, right? Yeah. So if you're in Shirt Lab Tribe, you could see his presentation, right? So this is just one example. So there's lots of stuff in there. So please join the tribe. We'd love to have you. It's a monthly thing. Join for a month. If you don't like it, just, hey, I don't like it. I'm out. Okay. And we'll cancel it. Right. But I guarantee you that you're going to find it. It's something that's worthwhile. So please join shirtlabtribe.com. And then also I want to share success stories. That's the podcast. Got new stuff coming out. Every single Wednesday, not every single Wednesday, the second and fourth Wednesdays of the month, new episodes come out. I'm constantly recording this stuff. I actually recorded 2 episodes this week. I've been busy. So it's lots of great content. And the whole idea here is I'm talking to people who are crazy successful and what are we hearing? We're hearing their stories. What are they doing? What drives that success? So if you want to be successful, maybe you should listen. That's the whole idea, right? And thank you so much for SNS Activewear for sponsoring the podcast. Got to give them a plug.
Absolutely.
And then what's the last thing? It's, YouTube. Please watch the best T-shirt I ever printed, my new YouTube show that my son Jack, he's directing, he's editing, he's producing. He picked out the music. He's doing everything for that. I'm just the on-air beauty. I'm just on-air talent, right? And so help Jack out by subscribing. He gets a $1 bonus for every subscriber. So I know he wants to buy the latest edition of Call of Duty or whatever he's going to blow his money on. He would love he would love that bonus. So please subscribe. Help that kid out, will you? And then also, if you want to be on the show, the best T-shirt I ever printed, I want you on the show. If you're listening right now and you print shirts, you can be on the show. Just hit me up. And how do you do that? Right here at Marshall@MarshallAtkinson.com. That's my email. Just say, hey, I want to be on the show. Let's arrange a time. We can talk about it. Then we'll find a day to film it. And we can talk about the best T-shirt you ever printed, right?
Yep.
And then lastly, because I don't want to hog everything, Alan, plug some stuff, will you?
Oh, man. Last week we plugged 601, the chemical we have for removing stain for water-based and sublimation. And I had some people from here, email me. I want you, if I can help you, or you just have it's not going to be a hard sell or anything like that, but you just have a question on reclaiming chemical, anything print, I don't care where you are. Email me. I will call you back. I will respond. If not, call Marshall and he'll call me and yell at me and go, hey, idiot. You know, let me know. I would love to. I would love to hear your successes. Love to help you out if I can. And if you go, Alan, I hate your shirt, tell me that too. I don't care.
And for those of you listening, you know, Alan works for EasyWay. Tell everybody your territory. And then if you're not, like, you live in California, there's somebody else that can help you, but share, like, you're traveling and doing stuff. Where do you go?
I live in Michigan. So I cover Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, Illinois right now, looks like Missouri, and some parts around there in Western PA. So I am all around, but I don't care where you're at. You know, some of the people called me, one was from Atlanta, and you know what? They're still supposed to get me their address and phone number and all the contact information. We're going to get him product to try out. He wants to. I don't know what dealer. I know a couple of them down there, but I'm going to have our guy, PJ Bordner, contact him, and he's going to be set up with a guy who's probably better than I am at this. If PJ's listening. Or you can email EasyWay and they will just say, hey, how do I get a hold of Alan? They'll get a hold of me.
Yeah, or ahal@easyway.com. It's pretty easy.
We talked about SDS sheets. This is so important. If you need help with your SDS or what do these mean, contact me. It's what we do.
Okay. So we got a couple comments and then we're going to leave.
Sean, you were the guy. You never sent me. You just mentioned it. Go all the way to the bottom.
Yeah. Okay. PJ needs to call me.
Yeah. Well, Sean, you never sent me your, I need all your shop address and email address. You never sent that to me.
Well, there you go. It's all about communication.
I didn't want to call you out, bud, but you just did yourself. So thank you, buddy.
So Yosta says, happy wife, happy life.
Absolutely.
Frank says, great job on Success Stories, Marshall. Thank you so much, Frank. I appreciate you. Thank you for listening. And thank you watching this show also. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Danielle says, what is that? What is it, a flag? What is that?
I think that's saying where she's from, but I don't know what country that is.
I don't know what that is. So we're stupid, Danielle. Please share what that is.
Yeah, but glad you're listening.
Yeah, we're happy you're listening and happy from wherever that flag is. So,
and Sean, I'm glad you called me and we got the chat this past week from last week. I enjoyed it. So yeah, let me know, because without trade shows, this is it.
Yes. So, hey, thank you everyone for watching. I want to make sure that Alan can get to his appointment. So, hey, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please let us know if we can help you with anything, and we will see you next week. Have a great weekend.
Have a great week.